Hello, I'm Toycat, and if you take a few seconds to look around the spawn area of this seed, you'll see quite a few interesting landmarks from quite a few different biomes, which are interesting enough by themselves, until you spot that in the background just over there is what is considered to be Minecraft's rarest structure, the Woodland Mansion. This is something that is very rare to find within even 15,000 blocks of spawn, so to see one just over the hill there makes this for an incredibly rare seed. But what if I said Minecraft's other rare structure, the one people actually forget about because it's so darn rare, is also found here? That's right, there is a fossil found in the mountain above ground. I can't point out how rare this would be anyway, but to find it this close to spawn is absolutely absurd. But it's not just one fossil, because there's a second fossil over there just in front of the beehive, which means bees, Woodland Mansion, and a fossil all at spawn is something you're going to be seeing alongside much more in today's Seed Sunday, which I hope you all do enjoy. So yeah, this is an absolutely nutty one, but we have to start with the intro. So hello, my Toycat, welcome back to Seed Sunday, the weekly series where I show you seeds for Minecraft that are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way. And today's seed is both those things because of the absolute rarity found within it. The seed is on screen right now if you do want to check it out, and the reasons you're going to want to check it out is because you spawn in a pretty interesting hybrid already of a swamp biome with a forest biome with an extreme hill biome into a river. It's a nice combination of 4 biomes, a cross point between quite a few interesting biomes already, but you're going to want to head straight into the side of this mountain over here because, as we already know, fossils are very rare and very hard to find anyway, so to find one close to spawn would already be such a big find. But this is a fossil which is somehow generated above the ground, so it's immediately visible if you want to find it. That is cool. So your odds of finding one of these somewhere underground is about 1 in 64 per chunk, which means over a big enough swamp or desert, which are the only 2 biomes right now which support them. Funnily enough, in the Nether update, the Soul Sand Valley will also support the fossil, but in the current update, you can only find them in deserts and swamps, which means in a big enough swamp, you've got a tiny chance of finding one of these somewhere below the ground. But this is a swamp biome next to spawn, and this is one which is arid somehow and generated right here on the side of the mountain. Same with this, by the way. Again, finding one would already be nuts in a swamp biome only this size, but here is a second one which also happened to glitch out and generate right here above the ground. That is silly insane, that is crazy, but it is a thing that genuinely has happened with this fossil, and as you can see, it's access to a lot of bone and bone meal, which is really wonderful if you're doing a vegan run. So that's right, this seed is not only a great thing for people who like rare structures and people who like seeds in general, because there's a lot of cool things we're about to show off, but also vegans are covered by this seed too. Also, if you're a vegan or if you just like annoying bees, good news is you're going to find some bees in this bee nest this close to spawn. Again, some people have to travel like thousands of blocks to find their nearest, biome which actually has a proper beehive on it, but this is a bee nest found this close to spawn, just 100 blocks away. And side note, when you get here, it's not just bees you can find, you can even destroy the bee's nest if you're into that sort of thing, but what you can also do is settle down because it's a really nice plains biome, perfectly flat, perfect for building, and also comes with this nice little ravine in it, which a lot of people like because it's really easy access to caving. All you have to do is kind of like finagle your way down there, and you can access lots of iron, lots of coal, lots more iron, and basically you get lots of veins of those 2 things, which gives you a really good start to the game because it means you don't have to spend time mining if you don't want to. You can get a nice supply of iron tools, iron armor, etc. without having to go actually searching for it because they're all visible right here from the surface. So yeah, this is one of the things you can do from spawn. You can head immediately across the swamp and immediately into the fossils, get yourself a nice place to settle down, and this is what I recommend doing if you want a long-term survival world. Always nice to have a starting base, right? But one of the things you might like about this seed is it's not your only choice. Instead, you can head through the swamp even further by heading like more to the east kind of direction, and if you head in this direction, you're gonna head towards the Woodland Mansion on the hill, which as soon as you spot, you can't unsee. Here's the cool thing though, it's not the only rare structure you'll find on the way there, which is already impressive, it's that close, but you'll also find on the way a witch's hut, which always spawns with a witch, always spawns with a black cat, which is a fun little Minecraft coincidence, also always spawns with a potion, and just, yeah, these things combined is kind of nice and rare. You can ignore it if you want to, you can leave it there if you want to, but these are really useful for making witch farms later on in the game. It takes a lot of effort to do, so, be not for the faint-hearted on that one, but still, the fact that that's possible is quite rare and wonderful. Similarly, on the way to the Woodland Mansion, which is a great guiding point because you can see it from everywhere, and you'll see why that is in a second. It's really insane to look inside, but yeah, all you have to do is head a little bit from to the south of this, again, right angle to the Woodland Mansion, and what you'll do is you'll find yourself in this rather enchanted valley over here because it's a combination of a flower forest with a birch forest in a way that makes this astounding little, biome right here. Unlike most terrain terrain you'll find in Minecraft Bedrock. Again, Minecraft Bedrock has a limit to the height of the terrain. Even Minecraft Java doesn't often have amazing, you know, like these mountains that look like they're all the way from beta. These are rare and hard things to find, but they exist over here in this biome. And again, they offer a great secondary choice. If you want to make an astounding, you know, base in a really enchanted looking location that might even look like you did it yourself, here is the place to do that. This place is a flower forest, absolutely covered in flowers, which, you know, as we all do know, is also useful for the bee update because it means it's going to be covered in bee nests as well. Every tree that generates here has a 5% chance of having a bee nest, which means that you're going to find dozens of bee nests around this place, dozens of bees trying to pollinate all of these flowers, and also dozens of opportunity to make dyes. Red dye, more red dye, pink dye, blue dye, orange dye, white dye even, all the different dyes you're going to find over here, and all the different bees you're going to find with them. And aren't bees just adorable? I mean, you know, the bee update's kind of, you know, older now, but still, looking at these guys, I just don't believe they're real. Like, those wings, man, those wings. Anyway, so yeah, there's an absolutely enchanted forest over here. It looks staggering to me, and I love the feel of this place, but it's not the only great thing about this seed. That's right, I know what you're all thinking. Toycat, what about the nearest abandoned village? Abandoned villages is something I'm still hyped about, and yep, abandoned villages, this seed's got one pretty close to spawn as well, just a few hundred blocks south of the biome we were just in. You can find, here is the nearest abandoned village. As you can see, very spooky, very coppery, very abandoned. Heading in the exact opposite direction, so north from where we found the witch's hut, to the left of where we found that big structure that we're definitely coming back to. The other thing that you're definitely going to want to check out on this seed is the fact that there is a giant desert found just to the north of all of this. Like, can you see the scale and the size of this desert? You hopefully can. If you can't, then something, maybe you should get an eye test. I mean, you know, this is a Minecraft video, so I'm not going to give you health advice, but if you can't see the desert at this point, might just be something wrong with you. So yeah, it's a few hundred blocks away, which means you're going to want to have some form of minecart system, or you can even use a nether portal link, or what I recommend for later on in the game is make a blue ice link over here. But either way, you can find yourself a desert village, which is perfectly in the middle of a desert, where, as you can see, it's like surrounded by desert on all angles, which makes it another kind of beautiful place. If you want to wall this place up and make it your starter village, I would not blame you for that. I would say that's a great idea. And in fact, this village right here is one that I think I'm going to use as the basis for my end village, because I just like so many different things about it. It has lots of houses. It's very space efficient if you look at the way it's kind of laid out, and like, oh, again, it looks very city-like to me. I fell in love with this village when I first saw it, and I figured, you know what? It's something I want to do personally, so maybe it's a thing you want to look at, or maybe you're just enchanted by the fact that I'm enchanted with it, or maybe you hate the fact that I like it. I hate a lot of things people hate in Minecraft, and looking at this, you might agree with that. But yeah, regardless, it's not the only thing you'll find in this desert, because you'll notice how just over here, there is a desert temple. Literally just the north of the place, you can, you know, find, slightly buried in sand actually, a desert temple. Rather nice. Do you know what you find in a desert temple? Lots of sandstone. But also, if you go down to the bottom here and you don't activate the pressure plate, what you'll actually find is 4 chests filled with random loot. You're not going to get the same loot every time, but you will get potential for a saddle, potential for rare enchantments, including even mending, by the way. All these sorts of things can potentially be found in here because of the way randomness works. You might get diamonds. I can technically say there is a chance you'll get an enchanted golden apple, and it's going to happen for one of you viewers watching this, because that's how random loot works. Also, just over here, you'll find a pillager outpost. I think pillager outposts aren't the most hype thing in the world, but some of you might like them, so here you have one of those just for you. Isn't that nice? Isn't that rare? Personally, I think it's both those things. But no, yeah, I personally, like, honestly, having access to lots of pillagers with their banners, kind of nice. Everything else, that's my opinion on that one. There's something very oddly satisfying about this portal. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I really like it. It looks like a saw or something. I don't know, I'm compelled by this. Okay, we're finally here. The part of the seed I know you want me to talk about. That's right, we're about to go to the Nether. No, I'd love to do that. I'd love to tell you about the Nether and trick you even more. I will just quickly say, the Nether is, you know, it exists. It's nothing to write home about. Although that implies you would write home back to your parents and be like, hey, Mum, just found this great Minecraft seed today. Has a really good Nether. Which, I mean, no matter how good your nether is, you probably shouldn't be doing that. But you know, I don't know your relationship with your parents. What I do know, though, is that this is a Woodland mansion. It's a part of the seed you're going to want to check out, and it's a very interesting part of the seed for a lot of reasons that I'm sure I don't need to explain. The height being one of them, the fact that it's a big Woodland mansion being another, and the fact that it's been forever since you've seen a seed of this being the last one, because these are rare structures, like I mentioned. I've been doing a lot of seed testing recently for, you know, related reasons to this, and the average distance for a Woodland mansion from spawn right now, based on my testing, is well over 15,000 blocks. So the fact that we can find one right here, 600 blocks away from spawn, immediately visible and immediately accessible, I think that's quite an astounding feat personally. And yeah, it's added to the fact that if you look at the Woodland mansion, because it generated on the top of a little bit of a hill right here, a hilly roof forest, you can see how in several places there's this huge kind of like back cliff, and then it even makes one of the coolest things in my opinion, this little area right here. There is a secret little area underneath the Woodland mansion, which you can totally, just with a few blocks of cobblestone or any other block of your choice, you can easily turn this into your own little hidey hole where you exist under the mansion, and I love that as a concept personally, because again, the way the biome generated is very strange, and whatever, Minecraft does weird things. I'm sure you don't need to hear me say that, but yes, to see an entire wall of cobblestone, it's not unheard of, but it's still staggering to see with a structure of this beauty. So there's lots of it. It appears in weird places. It's broken up in a few places, and it means that there's this weird kind of area over here where there's a bunch of caves which are kind of exposed, but they don't look exposed because they're going right next to this thing. It's weird, it's a thing, but let's give you a peek at the best rooms in here, just in case you want to come in and you want to loot it, then you want to leave again. First of all, we have one of the top rooms. This is always what I recommend. Always look around the Woodland mansion for the weird structures that are like left around every house, because there's a lot of these which aren't connected to the rest of the Woodland mansion. You can only find them if you dig through walls. In this case, you can see a chest filled with name tags, bones, and then also rotten flesh and coal. You know what we can do with that? We can make a coal sandwich with rotten flesh as the bread. It's not a very tasty sandwich, but you know what? We gotta do it to annoy the assistant. So yeah, we can make ourselves a lovely sandwich. What we can also find in here, besides the wonderful evokers, of course, who will drop totems of undying when they die, which just isn't so important now Village and Pillage come out. The one reason to come here, admittedly, has been somewhat removed, but yeah, you can head down the stairs if you want to. A weird staircase, but a staircase nonetheless. One filled with these dudes in a very weird place, in my opinion. If you head to the second floor, you'll find a flower pot room, which you can take the alliums from directly from the flower pots if you so choose. But what you can also do is you can just go to a chest and find a bunch of alliums. Even more flowers to add to your flower collection, which I'll admit on this seed isn't going to be so necessary. But what might be necessary is this room right here, which is a bedroom with what I assume was meant to be designed as a closet, but it's the ugliest closet in the world if it's meant to be one of those. But yeah, it's a closet, as you can see. Very convincing, very realistic. A walk-in closet, I guess you could maybe say it is. But the reason these rooms are interesting is because they have like a second floor. On the second floor, there's a second bed, a smaller one than the first one, for your servant to sleep in. And then in this one, you'll find some more rotten flesh and a diamond hoe. Do you know what you can make with this? A diamond hoe sandwich. You know what? Find you a hoe that you're willing to put in a sandwich. That is my life advice with all of you today. But yeah, basically this is Woodland Mansion, and it's a nice little Woodland Mansion. It's funny, people think of this as the rarest naturally generated structure, and as I said before, it's kind of a failure at its purpose, but it's always fun to see one just because of the months or the years you can go between seeing these. Even if you play Minecraft regularly, you have one purpose, one reason to see or look at these, and then they're gone forever. Even when I start up new Minecraft worlds, these just don't enter into my mind as a consideration, and I don't know if that makes them like beautiful in a way or terrible. I feel like having just one of these would be way worse than if we had 4 separate structures, all of which were kind of rare but found in different places, versus one which is found in one biome, the roof forest, but when it's found in that biome, it's not hard to find, it's not secret, it's the one thing about the biome that makes it redeemable, and it's very rare and makes the biome otherwise kind of a drab. I could rant on about this structure all day, but instead, I'll just repeat my life advice. Find you a hoe you're willing to put in a sandwich, and if you won't put the hoe in a sandwich, then do you really love the hoe? That's the question you should be considering. But the other question you should be considering is, why is it though that even though that's true, people still tend to think that the fossils are, you know, like not so rare, even though you never see them? It's because you're never thinking about them. Which therefore asks the question, which is more of a failure as a structure? The structure you think about and go, oh yeah, that, or the structure you think about and go, oh yeah, that, question mark. They are rarer, they feel rarer, they're more unique, and they make for staggering seeds, but which one is the one that sways you to play this seed if you're going to play it? Is it the fossils? Is it the mansion? Or is it the everything else in between? I'd love to know in the comments down below. This is like Seed Sunday research. Another interesting fact is there's some trees up here that technically count as the swamp biome, so they're the color of the extreme hill biome because they're all in there, but they've got these swamp vines like they're in a swamp. Very interesting to see. I love biome hybrid combo things. I might make a whole video on it sometime because I love them that much. And you know what else I love that much? When you like the video, and also, you know, in general, I love you that much. Dear viewer, thank you for watching me for 2019. I hope you continue to do so in 2020, because if not, then I'll die. Goodbye.